All right, welcome everyone to today's episode of Is It Prophecy here on Israel National Radio Rosh Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Louis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can email me at messiahhour@gmail.com, and once again a reminder that I'm on JApp. You can check me out there on www.j-app.me. My guest this afternoon is from Somazal.com and a frequent guest to this program, Rabbi David Katz. Rabbi Katz, how you doing out there?
Thanks for having me back, Ari. Looking forward to a nice political Torah discussion today.
Yes, we aired an episode on Sunday regarding the issues with Shas and politics in general in Israel. We got a lot of feedback, and people want us to continue discussion. So there has been some updates since Sunday even regarding Moshe Feiglin. Tell us a bit about that.
Okay, so last time we left our superheroes, Feiglin was, and these are not my words, this is what was being reported, which is why I made the conclusions that I did. Moshe Feiglin was politically assassinated, right?
Right.
Thrown under the bus for more, what do you call that, hyperbole, right?
Right.
With Likud. And there's a lot of bickering back and forth, he should have done this, why did he do that? Blah, 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 blah. But it came out I don't know if exactly last night. I heard news of it last night, what exactly the date was. But apparently he's coming out with his own party. And he's going to continue his shtick. Right-wing, Torah-based kind of politics. But, nationalist Torah, like Third Temple, Temple Mount. The things that, how aligned with absolute Torah, but the things we would want to hear from a Jewish people in the Jewish land, and that's going to be a theme for today. Just how Jewish do we want to be? How Jewish are we? What is total Jewish? Is that good or bad? Those questions, and he represents that view of absolute Jewish, and I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
Now, one of the things we were talking about is Gog and Magog, and I'm curious about the politics of David HaMelech, because David HaMelech, if you look at Tanakh, he had his own issues to deal with in regarding politics and religion. So talk a bit about David HaMelech politics.
So, you look at the Davidic line, Solomon and King David, right? The word church comes from the word Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes in Hebrew is Koheles. Koheles obviously is King Solomon's work, where there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So you can see where the church was going with their take, right? They're basically ripping off Solomon. And Solomon builds the temple himself. So the Davidic line has always been the gold standard for what would be religion, what would be politics, what would be Zionism, what would be just labor, bureaucracy, all the things that come out of the temple. In Masonry, 7 laws of Noah, Torah observance, taxing, shipping routes, gold, you name it. Those guys really set the bar, and they almost pulled it off in terms of messianic fulfillment. So I think every avodah zarah, every idolatry, every cult, every wannabe out there has fashioned themselves after the Davidic line, right? All the way down to Jerusalem syndrome, right? So the fact is that Judaism is no different in the most current incarnation, which is the state of Israel. So the state of Israel is, whether you're going by the hoopla on the internet of Gog and Magog Zionism type, whatever's going on with that. But the point is like a political Torah Zionism of being in the land of Israel, Jewish, and we're going to work on that word Jewish, what that means in terms of strictly Jewish, not strictly Jewish. But whatever the ratio is, if it's 80-20, 100-0, whatever it is, King David, in the true sense, whatever that true sense is, he would have done it. And King Solomon would have done it, and how we view religion from the land inside and out. All these matters, economics inside and out, political awareness and weather reports inside and out. King David is your guy. And in Psalms, King David lays it all out. And one of the things he lays out which is unique, and I don't know anybody that really goes along these lines, is he makes it very clear in the Psalms that are numbered throughout the late 40s, I think, like 48, 49, around there, 46 even, that Gog and Magog, the war of Gog and Magog, as he describes it, as allegorical. Right? It's not, shoot 'em up with your machine gun. It's an allegorical disintegration of false religion. So he talks about the earthquakes and the ground, disintegrating the mud. The commentators basically agree that where he's going is, false gods, false religion, false Zionism, false everything, falling away to the true revelation of God inside the land and out with the Jewish people and the non-Jews. We say, no, it's only a Jewish message. Well, King David would argue with you, right? It was clearly, in his words, a universal message. Look at Psalm 72. They're saying that to King Solomon, take your message out to the furthest nations. And there's different words for those nations. We just say, goy this, goy that. But there's many, many terms of the different types of nations and how they relate to God. And he was the father of such a theology. So his Gog and Magog is the strife and war of Sheker, falsehood, falling down as seen from inside the land of Israel.
Again, this is a Prophecy on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Louis, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course you can email me, messiahhour@gmail.com. Our guest this afternoon is Rabbi David Katz. We're going to continue the conversation, and Rabbi, I want to talk about the concept of the end of the false religion era. Are we at that point that we have an end of the so-called false religion?
I hope so.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Even in that same idea of false religion, and this is a big, chiddush in novel thought I'm about to say. That you look at King David and the allegorical end, all right, and people are going to say, no, you got to have an Uzi in the end of days. But King David's clearly going allegorical, in the end of the false religions. But one of the main catalyst of this whole thing that really gets no airwaves, I mean none, is that he is a huge advocate of the 7 laws of Noah, right? And it's inside the Tehillim, the Psalms, right? It's very clear that how he holds of the law for the nations of the world. So, you have that not just saying, well, it's nice that the non-Jews and outer distant islands can worship God too. But it's not this feel-good story and, being a light to nations is just not being a jerk when you're out in the street. It's more than that, right? It's about Torah. It's about the 7 laws. It's about the true religion. True religion is no religion. It's about philosophy of God and living in a world reality defined by Torah, right? That's what religion is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be rituals without light, doing it out of habit. The nations and their thing and the reverberations going out from that. It's supposed to be revelation of God and reality according to Torah. And again, the 7 laws are part of that fabric. So when we're talking about the false religions coming down, let's start with Noahidism, right? That's a false religion. Why? Because there's no such thing as Noahide. It's an English word invented in like the 60s. Now, look, I'm a big advocate of Noahide. I'm a technically, you could say, a Noahide rabbi. Right? I'm a rabbi that serves and caters to the non-Jewish world in terms of promoting and educating the 7 laws of Noah. But for lack of a better term, we use the word Noahide, right? Just like for lack of a better term, we use the word Jew. And right, every non-Jew out there will say, but you're not really Jews, you're Israelites, and the Northern Kingdom okay, we got it. North Kingdom, Southern Kingdom, right? Technically, we're not Jews, because that was a term invented in the second Aliyah to the land with Ezra and Nehemiah and Mordechai, right? The Yehudim. And really we were Israelites or Bnei Yisrael. So the terminology is all kind of that religion. Are you a Jew? Are you an Israelite? Noahide, Ger? All these terms. Everyone's lost in the terms. How about being, as a good friend of mine says, a child of God or a man of God, right? And someone that recognizes God, worships God, prays to God, talks to God, thinks about God. We've kind of lost our own subjective view, which is actually more correct than the objective, right? The objective view is, hi, my name is David Katz. I'm an Orthodox Jew, and I go to this synagogue and I pray. Okay, that's nice, but that's religion. right? And what kind of person are you, like, in terms of your relationship with God? And then in the Noahide world, you're just like, you're Toshav, you're Tzedek, you're Shar, you're this, you're that. And Noahide, I keep 7, I keep 3, I keep 4, I keep, okay, that's nice, but that's religion, you know? And we have these religious terms, items for a common vernacular to get the message across. And that's fine for the sake of study and communication. But once you start worshiping the religion itself, right? I'm a better Jew than you because I am, a member of this synagogue. My rabbi is this, and you believe in that. You're not as good as me, right? In the Noahide world, it's like I keep this and you don't keep that. I'm better than you because, that's already it's already stepping on idolatry, right? Because you're totally engrossed and enveloped in something that is not godly, right? It's like you're arguing over a banana peel and you're throwing away the banana, right? So again, religion is a necessary evil, and I don't mean evil. It's just a necessary thing. We have it, but eventually we have to move on to the light of the Torah, right? The light of the Noahide. Like, how about talking about his soul? Forget what he's called, right? Him. Who is he? Her. It. Whatever you want to go. But it's about progression to the light of this world and not focusing on the clip of the darkness and just dwelling on the terms that promote argument and violence and disruption.
Again, this is a Prophecy on Israel National Radio on Route 7. The show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Louis, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can email me, messiahhour@gmail.com. We're continuing the conversation with Rabbi David Katz at solmazal.com. Rabbi Katz, now, something very exciting. I did a little investigative research, and I saw that there's a picture of you with Moshe Feiglin's rabbi. Tell us what that is all about.
I don't know how like maybe Moshe Feiglin has multiple rabbis, not sure, but I know that of the Brit Olam, the World Noahide Center, of Uri Sharkey I've seen. I didn't ask him personally because I was like, hey, if you happen to be but when I saw a report, he is the rabbi to Moshe Feiglin, right? And so again, many people have many rabbis, but I know they're together and they work together on issues. In particular, Rav Sharkey is also a colleague of mine in a rabbi to the Noahide world. The video, I don't know if you want to post the link later on, but we work together at his center promoting my new book, co-written by Rabbi Chaim Korfin, which is called The World of the Ger. And the World of the Ger is, I guess, if you want to, for the framework of this discussion, it is the idea of a godly worship without religion, right? Because technically Noahide is not supposed to be religion. That's one of the laws of the laws themselves. So the Noahide in English, in the biblical Hebrew, as I've taught many times on this show and other places, is called the Ger, right? If you look in the Torah, you find Ger written towards 100 times of the entire Tanakh, and that is your biblical non-Jew who recognizes and worships God and has rejected idolatry. Right, and that is not a religious statement, right? The religious statement is something completely different. And the commentators say, how do you know which type of ger it is? Is it a convert? Is it a ger toshav? The answer is stop looking at it religiously, right? If you belong to this verse and what it represents, then you're that guy, right? If it says give non-kosher meat to the ger, which it does say in the book of Devarim, then guess what? You're not a convert because the converts don't eat unkosher meat. Right, so that means you are the type of ger that would eat non-kosher meat. When it talks about the Passover offering, if that's you, if you're circumcised and you fit the requirements, then you're in. You do it. If you're not, it's not you. So that's really where the Torah has to get to, and where serving God has to get to. Right? You do what you do. You don't do what you can't do, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can only do what you do. So I mean, that's a world of non-religion. So Rav Sharkey is kind of in that framework where I'm at. That's why we're working together at this point. And hopefully we're going to see what comes out of it in the future. What the endeavor is in relationship with Feiglin. As we said, Feiglin wants a Jewish state. He wants a temple on the Temple Mount. No bones about it. He says it openly and clear in every interview he does. The Temple Mount is imperative for him. And so what the goal is to do is, with this Noahide movement going on in the world, is there a way of incorporating Noahide-ism into Judaism, which would create a greater Zionism. That's the essential fractal of Feiglin, Sharkey, and myself.
All right, very interesting stuff. And also, I understand that there's an idea to have an aliyah for the Ger Toshav, and then that could create a lot of more people in Israel, about 1 million non-Jews in the West Bank. Tell us a bit about that.
So when you look at the link of Moshe Feiglin speaking, I don't know if you can post it or not when you post the class, but there's a video which I found was sent to me, Moshe Feiglin answering questions, and I forget the exact context of how he came onto this, but he said we're living in exciting times. No, it's a common thing being passed around these days. But what did he mean? And he says what he means: that every 20 years we are undergoing massive aliyah. And look at this equation. You'll like this, Ari. In the 30s, you had millions come with the Yishuv, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
In the 50s, you had the Moroccans in northern Africa come in the aliyah then. Is that correct?
That's correct.
In the 70s and 90s, you had tons of Russians come. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, well, what's 20 years later?
That'd be about now.
Right about now. So he's saying, like, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to miss the boat because we're due. You know, the way Zionism happens to work, and it just works. It's, why do locusts come out every how many years is that in America? That whole thing, like every 7 years or whatever it is, right? Remember that when the locusts come out every 7 years or whatever it is.
Right. So this is a new pattern, but it's people coming to Israel instead of locusts.
Right. Right. So I'm saying that the world has patterns. Like there's cyclical things that happen. Look, the Jewish calendar is a 19-year cycle. Halley's Comet comes every. So there are cyclical things in creation, and the land of Israel has its own cyclical nature. And one of the cyclical things that we are seeing in our window of being in the land since 48 and starting the Yishuv since the 20th century is the patterns of Aliyah, of coming to the land. Now, what's interesting is why would you think that there's supposed to be Aliyah? Like, why would you think that? Okay, maybe if you do some good propaganda, you can get Aliyah. But so back up a second. Everybody that knows a little bit about Israel is aware of the Satmar Hasidim and their staunch view against Zionism, right? Because we cannot be in the land of Israel till the Messiah comes. That's what they feel. That's how they hold.
That's their viewpoint, right?
Right, and then you'll get like the goofball, the Tory Kartas that go hang out with Ahmadinejad and say, "You see, we're right. We should, go Hitler." Right? So it's sick. But the fact is, the Satmars are against Zionism. They're against Jews being in the land. Why? There's a Talmudic idea that the Jews made a certain amount of oaths.
Yeah.
At the time, I think, of the destruction of the second temple or first temple, I forget.
Right. They wouldn't come back to Israel in mass on condition.
In mass Aliyah. Right. And that was written how many thousands of years ago? At least 2,000 years ago.
Well, not just that. I mean, but the oaths were broken. Part of the oath was that the non-Jew would not persecute the Jew too much. Well, Shoah, I think, takes away that deal.
Right. And this is all based on a verse in Song of Songs that I adjure you, O nations, not to arouse the love before the end. And what does the Vilna Gaon explains there? Why? Because if you, the non-Jew, press the Jew to get his act together, I'm going to punish the Jew. So what do the nations do? They're pressing for Zionism. Jews, hello, wake up, Boker Tov. And what happened? God punished who? The Jews. And there you see a clockwork. And like you're saying, what came out of that? Massive Aliyah. Right? And so apparently this is not a new phenomenon. Rashi knew it very well when he explained the Talmud, which is written very well. Right? This is a pattern of Zion. Right? And if you map Zionism through thousands of years from Abraham and Melchizedek, you'll probably see this pattern. So it wasn't any kind of a guess or some kind of wishful thinking. This is what happens in the land. And once we start coming here with the Vilna Gaon students, the Chabad students, the Hasidic students in the 19th century, and then that whole century they founded the Yishuv. Ever since then, every 20 years they're getting a massive Aliyah. And here we go. We're right on target. We're right in the middle of it. And Moshe Feiglin saying, boys and girls, you're going to miss out. I hate to tell you. You're focusing on the wrong issues. And he's also saying, by the way, this aliyah that we're focusing on, you might want to start thinking temple. You might want to start thinking prayer and real Judaism, because gay marches and parades in downtown Tel Aviv just might not be what the doctor ordered.
All right. This is going to be the end of part one of my interview today with Rabbi David Katz. On part two, we're going to talk about Torah politics. Going to talk about Mordechai of the Purim story, if he did Torah politics or not, if he was liked for that. And we're going to talk about more of Rav Kook Zionism. Before we take a break, again, as I say all the time, go to the YouTube channel Messiah Hour, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Louis. You'll see the YouTube channel, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and tell your friends about it, because the more subscribers I get, and then that will create more hits. That will create more people who don't know about the show to then find out about the show, so I get the message out more. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email me, messiahhour@gmail.com. Also, a reminder that I'm on JApp. Go to www.j-app.me. JApp is a great tool for a lot of different classes. A lot of my shows are on there. There's different classes from big rabbis. Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, for example, is on there. And my good friend William Barty, he's the one that set that up. So, again, www.j-app.me. Again, MessiahHour@gmail.com, Messiah Hour on YouTube. We're going to take a break and have more with Rabbi David Katz on the other side. This is a Prophecy on IsraelNationalRadio.com.